We're back on the path to Golden Demon. Today's episode is the final episode before we start painting, and so I'm just going to show you the final little steps that I did to prepare the base and show you the final bit of kit bashing I did on the dead orc and on Ragnar himself. But before we get into all that goodness, I just want to get into a little behind the scenes action about what's going on this side of the camera. Lately been having some crazy issues with the editing for the channel. I've literally had CapCut crash on me probably a dozen times. So I finally quit and stopped using CapCut, started using DaVinci Resolve, learned how to use that, was getting used to it, and then now that won't even open on my computer anymore. That being said, I do have a really old laptop now, old in PC years is what I mean, but it's just like a really old 4-core processor, and it just really can't handle the editing and the content creation stuff that I'm trying to do. And I want to make better videos, and I can't do that if I can't add anything to the videos without CapCut crashing or without doing something crazy. So I am doing a huge upgrade for the channel, and I'm going to be building my first PC ever. I've never built a PC before, but I wanted to save some money, so I'm going to build it myself instead of buying one. And so I'm going to show that in the next video. So it's going to be a little bit different, not really miniature related, but miniature YouTube related. So we're going to get into that in the next video. So if you like that kind of stuff, you know, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I think it'll be pretty cool. I got all the parts now, so over this week I will be building it and, you know, hopefully edit the video that you'll see next week on it. And then hopefully in the future that means a lot better videos and a lot easier on my end so I can focus on painting. I haven't been able to do that much with the Golden Demon piece because it's just been a struggle over here getting stuff done. Even if I get a video completely done on CapCut, it takes like 10 hours to export it, which makes no sense because when I first started the channel, it wasn't doing that. So I really don't know. I've uninstalled it, reinstalled it. It's just been a big pain in the butt. Just kind of updating you guys on what's going on this side and, you know, what I'll be doing to remedy that situation. Spending a good chunk of change on a computer that I really wasn't planning on buying. Subscribe to the channel and like the video, you guys. And, you know, because I do want to just keep doing this and make better videos. So that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I'm investing in a computer, which I picked a terrible time because prices are up on RAM, if you're familiar with that at all. That should be cool though. But let's get into the Golden Demon piece and what I did to finish this sucker off. So after the Golden Demon in Germany ended, and I saw all the awesome miniatures that were presented, it really motivated me to kind of step up my game a little bit. So I actually ended up going back to the drawing board on the actual miniatures themselves, and I redid the shoulder piece of fur on Ragnar, and I actually ended up getting an entirely different dead orc, which I mentioned in the last video, and you guys kind of saw that because I showed it but didn't really talk about it. But what I did do is I got a completely different orc, and I posed him much more in the actual fashion of what the pose in the painting was, which at first I didn't think was a big deal, and I guess it really isn't, but I really kind of wanted to stick to that. So I got a new miniature, one that had his arm kind of raised up and reaching out so that it would look like he was like laying flat. I pulled the left hand off of another miniature. This was another orc from I think it was the same kit, but just another orc. None of the orc kits that I had a right hand like free of a weapon. Every single orc had a weapon in his right hand. So there was none that in the pose that I wanted. So I ended up having to rip a flamethrower off of this hand, but it was the most unclasped hand, I guess. It ended up looking good. I had just ripped it out of there and drilled out the hole, and so you can't really tell. Also with the orc, he has a shoulder armor piece on each shoulder. So I wanted to add those in, and I wanted to sculpt those because I didn't want to rip them off of another mini because I just didn't think it would cleanly come off. It just wouldn't look right, and there was really not any other orcs that fit what I was trying to do. At first I used some green stuff, and I'm going to just talk about what I did with the video of the green stuff, because I don't know what happened to the video of me redoing it with the milliput, and I'll explain why I redid it with the milliput later, but I'll just explain what I did, and I did the exact same thing with milliput later. Another issue I had, I don't know what happened to the footage of it. So basically all I did was I mixed up some green stuff again with the milliput. I did it again and just kind of made a little flat piece and molded it to the shoulder. So I made 2 shoulder pieces, shoulder pads, and to kind of give it the more of the look of what the actual painting, the orc in the painting, look like. And on the shoulder closest to the front of the miniature, so his right shoulder, the one with the hand reaching out, it also had some spikes on it, which I did by just rolling really thin pieces of milliput until the little, like the end of it, till there's like a little point at the end. I cut that off and planted it on there. I probably did that like 7 times because I kept accidentally breaking them off while doing other things on the miniature, which was just a pain in the butt. They're on there, so there's just some 3 spikes on there. That was pretty easy, and I felt like that looks really good. I think the shoulder pads look pretty good. So I also used the green stuff to fill the gap with the hand that I am placing in there. So that pretty much finished off the orc, and he looks way better, almost exactly like what the painting looks like. So I'm pretty happy with the way that came out. The only other piece of sculpting I redid was, like I said, the shoulder piece for the wolf pelt on Ragnar. So at first I just did it by stamping in some green stuff so that it kind of like looked like the negative image of the fur. But I really wanted to try and sculpt the fur and make it really look more like fur. So basically I just made a thin cloth, laid it over the shoulder to get it to the shape that I needed. And then I took more milliput and just rolled out some thin strips and basically cut off teardrops, and one at a time placed these little fur tough teardrops on the miniature, and trying to follow like the shape that I think the fur would follow. This was a really time-consuming process, and it ended up, the drying time on the milliput ended up kind of getting wonky, so near the end of it, it got really frustrating and they wouldn't like stick to the piece. So I ended up having to do this twice. I ended up making some new milliput and doing it again at a later date to kind of blend it all together better. But in the end, I think it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I definitely could be better, but I'm new to sculpting. I'm not going to become like a master fur sculptor in a couple months, and I really just need to start painting. So I think it came out pretty good, and you'll let me know down below if you agree with that. The final touches on the base was I just wanted to add some texture paste, dabbled that along in just the empty spots to kind of add texture. So yeah, I finished that up and added some texture paste all over the base, making sure not to add any into like where the orc will go and stuff, because I want to make sure that that will stick really well once I'm ready to glue him in there. And because I felt like this bottom left corner of the miniature was looking a little empty in the rubble pile, I found this orc knife in one of my orc kits, and I just cut it off to make it look like it had like landed in there into the rubble a little bit. So just cut the edge off, and that'll just give it like a little one more extra cool thing to kind of be looking at in the corner. I thought that was a good idea. The other bit of sculpting I redid was the hair on the orc head that he's holding in his hand. I felt like the hair looked like too stringy, so I ended up just re-sculpting that, moving the entire head up a little bit because he was dragging it a little too low. It was like hanging by his feet, and I needed it more up, kind of near where his knee was. I cut the wire that I had in there, moved it up a little bit, and re-sculpted the hair to look more like GW hair and less like really individual hair strands. I think it came out pretty good. I was really happy with the way that did. I also added a tongue in there because in the painting he's like dead with his tongue hanging out, so added a little tongue in there, and I thought that was cool. And after that, I am ready for painting. Everything else is done. I'm ready to get this primed and start actually painting this miniature for Golden Demon. So that's pretty exciting. But I'm going to give you one more reveal, which is kind of the fullest reveal you'll see of the full thing until Golden Demon. So everything's on there except for the sword that he's holding in his hand, because I already got it pinned to the painting thing, so I didn't feel like undoing that and sticking it on there. But here is a reveal of the final look of the Golden Demon piece. So let me know what you guys think down below. Am I pulling off the painting? Is it gonna look right? I hope so. I hope you guys like it. Next, we will start actually painting this miniature. Probably gonna start with the backdrop because I want it to give me a little bit of a boost, but we'll be priming, adding some color in the priming as well. And it's gonna be pretty exciting. I'm definitely glad I chose to follow this piece of art, like actually try to like replicate the art piece, because it's really knocking off a ton of the decisions that I have to make. Pretty happy with that. So I already know the colors I need and everything. It's not really like a guessing game at this point. So that's cool. So we just gotta execute on the paint. It's looking less and less likely like I'm gonna get to the Middle Earth thing, but I hope so. I hope the painting goes smoothly, and if so, then who knows? This computer thing really kind of effed up the progress here and screwed me up. I was like a little bit ahead on video so that I would have more time to work, and then I ended up having to edit that one video that came out late like 10 times, so because it just wouldn't work. So yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, I'm still excited. I'm still ready to go, and I'm pretty excited to build this PC. So hope you guys are into that kind of stuff and are gonna want to watch. Anyways, that's it for today's video, you guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out.